quite a few of you have been watching on YouTube. We're lucky enough to have Olivia has agreed to come back again. Welcome back, Olivia. And speaking of numbers, we've doubled our guest numbers this week. We have 2 guests. We're going canal boating in Europe, and we want experts, of course, on this show. So we've brought in David and Olivia from Le Boat, the largest canal boating company in Europe. Welcome, Cheryl. Welcome, David.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for agreeing to come on. Cheryl, it's your first visit to New Zealand, I understand.
It is, and it's
Welcome.
very exciting for me. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure to have you here. But David, you've been a number of times, I think.
I have indeed, and what a wonderful pleasure it is to be back and to be able to talk tonight about canal boating in Europe.
Excellent. Now, as I said, you're the largest canal boating company, so you better tell us how many boats you have and where they are and what type.
Well, it's our pleasure to tell you all about Le Boat. Le Boat is the largest European boating holiday company in the world. We've got 900 boats. Our biggest cruising destination is France. And I guess the big exciting thing about Le Boat is anybody can come on holidays with us. No experience needed, no license required. So Le Boat is a beautiful holiday for any types of families, couples, groups of people, and it's a great way to really experience the waterways.
So how does it work if you don't have a license for a boat to drive the boats up the canal? I wouldn't think that would be very safe.
Yeah, well, I guess it sounds quite frightening, doesn't it? But we've got 900 boats and there's thousands of customers that travel with us every year. So you turn up at one of our bases, we give you a full briefing on the cruising ground, the health and safety sides of our boat. We get you on board, we talk you through the boat, we show you how to work the boat, and then we take you down to your first lock. We take you through your first lock, and then we say goodbye, enjoy yourselves, and it's that easy.
Oh, wonderful.
It is easy because we picked up this boat at a place called Sète right down in the south of France, and we took off. We did go through a good briefing procedure, so we knew what we were doing. We thought we knew what we were doing. So we went through the first lock, and about an hour later we're coming into the first town. We saw the town, we knew where it was. So it came to a fork in the canal. We just kept going straight ahead, and the lovely villagers were waving at us and talking to us, and they got louder and louder, and then we realised they were trying to warn us that we were about to hit a dam, which was right in the middle of the village. So
that's when you stop.
we managed to stop, but that was the only real trouble apart from tail-ending a Swiss-German couple in one of the locks. They got a little bit upset for the rest of the day. We kept following them through locks for about 4 hours.
Well,
that was the only minor problems we had.
Trust me, our boats are clearly built for people with no experience at all. So we're not expecting anybody to be experts. We're expecting you to have your occasional bump maybe, but we've got fenders all around our boats, so you might bounce onto the marina, but you'll bounce straight off. And that's basically what it's all about. You know, it's very fun. We don't expect anybody to be nervous. So the minute you get through your first lock, you really start to pick up some confidence. And by day 2, of course, you're an expert.
And it's ironic with our new boats, they're actually joystick driven, and with the families, it's amazing. The young children are probably the biggest experts on driving them, because they're so used to playing with Xbox and stuff like that, that when they come to steer these fairly large boats, they're far better than the parents. So it's and we encourage that. You know, boating is a very it's a great holiday for families to all be together. You know, in this day and age, you know, the kids are maybe off at a kids club or heads down in the iPads, whereas on a boating holiday you're all mucking in. You know, you're having to help to tie up and moor, you know, off in the morning on your bike to go and get the baguettes to have breakfast. So it's a very good holiday in this day and age to all to be together and be as a family, you know. So it's a great experience.
So you brought up kids driving the boat. Is there, for the hire, is there an age restriction of sort of minimum age for the? We
do. It's 17. It's kind of like a car, you know. The minimum age technically is 17, but obviously under supervision. You know, people can all have a go at it. But you know, obviously when you come into locks and other areas, it's probably best that the adult doesn't take control.
Or in our case, maybe not.
Well, maybe not, you know. So, but from this part of the world, I mean, we do get a lot of groups of friends that will go, you know, so they're probably touring through France for a month, and 1 week of that maybe cruising on a La boat.
So these canals have been there for quite some time. What's the history behind them?
Well, they were originally built as the sort of the freeways. It was a way to get from A to B, and the Canal du Midi was to go from the Atlantic through to the Mediterranean. And so all the townships were built around the canals. So now you're off the beaten track, and for the tourist, it's wonderful because you're cruising through these medieval towns. And one of our bases is through the Canal du Midi. You go through Carcassonne, which is a walled city.
That is a fabulous place.
It is, and you know, you can get guided tours. There's fantastic restaurants, and it was actually where they filmed Robin Hood, the movie. So it's it's a spectacular, wonderful place.
And so, do these canals, can they link up to other countries? Can you travel, you know, say from France through to Holland or Germany?
Well, some of the countries do link up. However, most customers would take our boats on average for about a week to 10 days, maybe 2 weeks. So you'd find most people would cruise maybe 2 to 3 hours per day. So it's mainly sections of France, sections of Germany, sections of Holland. And so to do country to country, you'd probably have to spend maybe about 6 months with us.
Yeah,
Well, that sounds all right.
Yeah.
But you're more than welcome.
Yeah,
So
fantastic.
it does give you the opportunity to do this many times, doesn't it? Because you could do the Canal du Midi one time and
There's
other canals at a later date.
I mean, people say to me, I've been to all of our bases and, you know, had the pleasure of cruising on most of our cruising grounds. You know, Cheryl, what's your favourite? And the reality is they're all beautiful in different ways. You know, some of them you'd explore because, you know, you've got some of the best beaches in the south of France. Some of them are particularly good for nature. So very special in different ways.
And so when you're cruising along and you moor up in a beautiful village, how would you go about exploring these beautiful places that you're visiting?
So I guess just imagine being a family or a group of people on holidays and you wake up one morning, everybody's got bikes, so we're also one of the largest bike hire company in Europe as well.
Oh, wow.
So you would jump off the boat and then you would explore the town. One of you is getting up first thing in the morning to find out, you know, where you're buying your fresh baguettes from, your croissants, you're bringing them back to the boat, you're having breakfast on board, and then maybe you'll do a few hours cruising, then you're jumping off again, you're exploring the beautiful villages, the shops, the local cuisines, you're buying your meats, your wines, and your cheeses, and of course that's a fantastic experience in France. But it's just wonderful to explore, you know, cycling down the vineyards, going to the wine caves. I mean, it's very special, isn't it?
It is, and I think, you know, pre-engines, the canal boats were all pulled by the horses, so it's a very flat area for obvious reasons because it's a canal, so it's very easy to cycle. So all ages can do it, and we actually do have bikes for all ages. So from the teeny tots where there's a trailer bike, you know, so you can sit in a little carriage with mum and dad cycling ahead. So we try and make it for everyone, and it is a whole part of the holiday experience. I mean, the boat is there to get you from A to B, but there's so much to do and see around the canals.
And so how long can you actually moor up? Can you be there for a couple of days, or do you have to be in and out pretty quickly?
Oh, you can be there. I mean, a lot of the clients from this part of the world probably do a one-way. So obviously you have to keep going.
Yeah.
But normally with the itineraries that we've designed, it gives you, as Cheryl just mentioned, it gives you about 4 hours or 3 hours cruising, and then another 3 to 4 hours of being able to go and explore. But obviously if you find an area that you really like, you can stay there a bit longer, but then that just entails the next
you've got
day.
to catch up a bit.
Correct, so you might have to cruise for the next day, but certainly, yeah, we give enough time to be able to do without having to rush, you know, and really, because the boats only go 7 k's an hour, you know, so it's a very relaxed way of travelling.
And Olivia, one of the advantages of those horse tracks is that it's dead flat, so other people can be driving the boat. You can go for your run, as you like to do. You can go for your run, and you'll probably beat the boat. That's right. So you go and wait at the other end, and hop back on the boat.
Oh, perfect.
And you've come back from your run, so you'll need obviously to get freshened up. So what's on board the boats in terms of facilities, bathroom, kitchen?
Well, on the new boats that we've got, I mean, it's all en suite. I mean, it is a proper cabin with double beds that can be split into twins, with a separate shower, proper flushing bathroom, toilet. In the saloons and kitchen area, we have stand-up fridge freezers, fully fitted kitchens with all your pots and pans. We've got outdoor barbecues with a sink and cold fridge to keep your meats. So, and we do encourage that, because obviously if you're going through all these areas, you can buy fantastic fresh produce every day from the market. So,
and that's what you want.
And so after you've done your run, you can then enjoy a nice meal and then think of your next run to work off the beautiful meal you had the night before. So
gorgeous.
Thinking back to years ago, we were we'd do our own breakfast and lunch, but every evening we managed to be tied up near a village, and I think at the most we maybe walked 100 metres to some of the best restaurants that we've been to.
And that's right, you know, it's really quite special, because, you know, you're going into these, you know, beautiful little towns, and you don't expect to see so many nice sort of boutique-y type restaurants, but they are lovely, and you're eating in some of these towns for about a third of the price that you would pay in Paris. So it's a lovely experience.
More traditional.
Yeah.
Now you did mention price, so the viewers are probably asking, what does all this cost? So, David, you're the money man, I believe. Give us an idea of what we'd have to pay from New Zealand.
Yeah, well, for a lead-in price, sort of in the off-season, so to speak, or the start of the season, you could be looking at as little as $500 per person, based on 6 people travelling for a week.
So that's 3 couples, would be about 500 per person.
Per person, yeah, and that's your transport and accommodation, you know. And obviously, as Cheryl just mentioned, you know, the prices are very cheap for eating out and also buying the fresh produce from the market. So it's an extremely economical holiday, very economical.
And I guess the good news as well, you mentioned mooring earlier. You can moor up anywhere on the waterways free of charge, so you know, that's a plus as well. So you can park up in marinas, or you can just find a beautiful place in the middle of nowhere where you can basically pull up at the side of the canal. One of you jumps out on the grass, you get your stake in the ground, or you wrap your rope around the side of a tree, and it's that easy. But basically park wherever you want, you know, providing you've got the room.
Yeah.
And in the case of my father-in-law, you park there and you jump over the fence and you raid the local vineyard of all their grapes.
That's exactly what you do.
Well, it's been fantastic. I want to go again now.
I know I want to go back to France.
It's a terrific experience. You've got to do it again.
So I'm definitely going to do it again. Thank you very much for coming, Cheryl and David. And if you want to know more about Le Boat and where you can travel, have a look at our website. We'll have a fact sheet there. And of course you can call us, Bon Voyage Cruises and Travel, 0800 266 869, and get canal boating.
Thanks
for coming.
Thanks very much. Thank you.